So, good morning. My name is Heinz Arnold from Componeers. I'm here at Embedded World, the second day, and I'm talking to Manny Singh. He is Vice President Product Management, Qualcomm. And I just learned that you are with Qualcomm for many years now.
That's right.
Maybe you can just give a brief introduction. What are you doing at Qualcomm?
Yeah, sure. First of all, thanks for having me. My name is Manny Singh, and I'm a VP of Product Management at Qualcomm, responsible for the developer ecosystem strategy and execution. Mm-hmm. I've been at Qualcomm for the last 30 years in many different roles. And Qualcomm has obviously, changed a lot in those 30 years, from being a mobile company to now diversified into many different businesses, automotive, connectivity, compute, XR, and IoT.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think with the acquisition of Arduino, you just entered a new phase in your strategy.
Yes.
What are you aiming at? Are you now aiming at hobbyist markets, or what is the reason?
Right. No, absolutely. So, as you know, IoT is a very, very fragmented space. There are so many different companies. There are so many different solutions. So, what we wanted to do was to make sure that we have a strong foundation that starts from enabling the developers and customers to be able to build products, at least start with prototype, and then go from prototype to production in a very seamless and easy fashion. So building a prototype starts with making sure that you have accessible hardware, something that you can use to build the concept that you have in your mind. And so Arduino really brings in that philosophy of ease of use and developer experience. They have a very large ecosystem of developers. So we thought this is the best way for us to bring the advanced technology that Qualcomm has to offer into these products.
But how does the open source strategy of Arduino fit into the existing Qualcomm ecosystem?
Absolutely. So, of course, Arduino has an open source philosophy for both hardware and software, and we intend to continue in that fashion. In fact, we want to adopt those practices, because I think with the open source hardware, that it's important to offer that for customers and developers to be able to then take what they have built with the Arduino board and go and build their own custom solutions. So openness is at the center of Arduino's philosophy, and we intend to continue to do so.
Okay, so you will continue Arduino being an own entity within Qualcomm?
That is correct.
Yeah.
So when we announced the acquisition,
and you will follow the open source strategy.
Exactly. So if you look at the product that we launched with them at the time of the announcement, which is the Arduino Uno Q, that product already, with the launch of that product, we provided all of the collateral for building your own hardware with the open source, all of the reference designs that you needed, as well as the fully mainlined upstreamed Debian release. So we made that promise at the time when we acquired, and we did that. And if you see the board that we announced yesterday, the new Ventuno Q, or Arduino Ventuno Q, we're continuing that same philosophy. The entire hardware design for the Ventuno Q is going to be open and will be provided at the time of launch. And we are offering a fully upstream mainline Debian distro along with that as well.
Okay. So Arduino is known for prototyping. How could you support the way from prototypes to commercial volume products?
Right. So in order for any customers or developers to go from prototype to production, and scale, we have a lot of different partnerships with system on module vendors that are already building modules for the chipsets that go into the Arduino product. And so if the customers wanted to go in that route, they can do so. We also have the option for them to take our chipsets and build a chip-on-board design if they choose, because we believe that customers should have a choice. And so in this case, a lot of our partners, Tria, Seco, Congatec, Avnet, all of these guys are building these, system on module that any customers can work with those partners and build their board.
Do we exhibit examples of products here at the booth?
Yes, if you visit our booth, you will see almost like a big wall of these system on modules built by many of our partners. So yes, this has been part of our strategy from a long time ago, but then kind of fits in with how we're going to scale from customers and developers building prototype to production.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I've seen you have more than one booth here at the show.
Absolutely.
So what is the reason and how fits everything together?
Yeah, so Arduino is one piece of or part of our strategy. When you're building a product, it's not just about the hardware, but it's about the entire application or the use case that you're trying to build. And as you know, AI is at the center of every single segment of the IoT. So in order to make sure that the customers can actually build the AI models and deploy those in a seamless fashion, we also had an acquisition that we did last year around this time, and we announced it, the Edge Impulse team. So the Edge Impulse is an ML Ops platform that allows the customers to go beyond just building a model and running it on a device, but actually go from all the way from collecting data to building a model, optimizing the model, deploying the model, and then monitoring those models in the field. So this is a problem that I think a lot of people miss. Sometimes AI is perceived as just about taking a model and running on the device, but the big part of it is for the customers who are trying to solve a specific problem. They need to have the ability to go from all the way from collecting data to actually deploying the model. And that only comes with this MLOps platform from Edge Impulse that kind of brings in that capability in a very no-code, low-code form.
Okay.
So that people can actually build this in an easy way. The other acquisition we did that was a year before that was Foundries.io. Now, as you know, when you go from prototype to production and you deploy something in the field, you want to be able to secure those devices and manage those devices. And with the CRA, Cyber Resiliency Act in Europe, you want to be able to make sure that those devices are kept updated over a period of almost like 10 years. So Foundries.io provides that service for customers that may not have the in-house engineering expertise to manage those devices over a long period of time. So they provide the ability for those customers to manage these devices over a long period of time.
Okay.
So if you kind of look at these pieces, with the Arduino, of course, the silicon from Qualcomm, the Dragonwing silicon, then you add on top of it the Arduino simple and easy to use developer kits. The development environment of AppLab that Arduino provides to easily build your prototype. And then if you want to add AI into the mix, you have Edge Impulse platform. And then, of course, once you deploy it, you have Foundries.io. Yeah. So we are basically covering all the way from silicon to actual deployment. We have all of these solutions come together seamlessly.
What will be the typical AI workload for these products?
The AI workloads can vary anywhere from a simple time series data from any kind of sensing elements to audio to vision to speech. And now, if you see the latest Arduino board that we launched yesterday, we can go into generative AI with the LLM models, VLM models, and then of course in future very soon with a much higher performance chipsets from Qualcomm, you can run the VLA models for the robotics as well. So we support a broad range of AI workloads at the edge. So we know with varying different degrees of capabilities of our chipsets, we have an entire portfolio of chipsets that cater to consumer market to industrial market with all these different levels of AI capabilities.
I guess many students, for example, they are used to Arduino and to work with Arduino, and when they start their professional work, they get Arduino with them. I can remember, I think in the early 90s, with the programmable logic, it was kind of similar.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, I mean,
Arduino brought it with them into the industry. You
know? Correct. So Arduino has been for a lot of people, a lot of students, was the first platform that they experienced when they started learning electronics. So Arduino has been around now, 21 years? And if you see all the platforms that they developed, the students kind of upgraded their capabilities over a period of time. Now, in this age of AI, if you wanna start your first learning experience on AI, this platform, the UnoQ platform that we launched last year, is the best platform for them to go in, start experiencing AI, learning AI, building with AI, and then, of course, mastering AI. So we have the toolchain that Arduino provides. It kind of helps the students and learners to kind of go from all the way from basics to advanced.
What do you think are the main differentiations between the Arduino platform and other existing platforms?
Yeah, I mean, so this is with Arduino. I think we've introduced a brand new category of device. You know, it's not like other kits. So if you look at the UnoQ or the VentunoQ, the very first thing that stands out is that it's a dual brain platform. And what I mean by that is you have the microprocessor and the microcontroller on the same board. And the other thing is the ease of programming for both of them. There is a seamless interface between the microprocessor and microcontroller. So anybody who's let's say an AI engineer, they don't have to worry about how to program these two different hardware. Right? So that's just the first thing. And the other thing is it provides the interfaces for it has Arduino interface for any kind of peripherals to attach. It has the Raspberry Pi interface. It has the on-chip onboard memory that you don't see in many of these platforms. Of course, advanced AI capabilities, right? I mean, the board that we launched last week, it has 40 TOPS of AI performance, so you can run all sorts of workloads. So in many ways, this platform is a unique category by itself, and we're not trying to mimic the others that are in the market.
Okay. Yeah. So what are the main goals for you for the next 12 months until we see us here in Nuremberg next time?
Yeah. So we've been super busy trying to get these Arduino products to market. Of course, there are many other platforms that Qualcomm has to offer with much more advanced capabilities. So as you saw with the UnoQ, we launched the entry-level platform for the developers and makers and customers. And now we have launched this second platform with a lot more AI capability that can enable many more use cases. I don't know if you heard our announcement last week. We have now gone into partnership with some companies on building humanoid robots.
Yes.
So the capabilities of these platforms are really multiplying, and we want to be able to see next year something interesting with Arduino that can bring those type of capabilities as well. So you'll continue to see us progressing in that direction.
Okay, so thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to meeting you next year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.